And we'd like to speak to Kilmney Duchardt now, who's standing by and was listening to those speeches. Kilmney, lots of detail. Let's just start with the raid itself. It was a swift operation, but also a safe one.
Well, absolutely. And it's very interesting to find out that police 3 days ago had narrowed it down to 5 different addresses, and they essentially zeroed in on this one apartment that we now know belonged to an Iraqi man, not a Kyrgyzstan man that was reported earlier. And he, as well as 3 other women in the house from Senegal, Egypt, and Somalia, were also detained in that raid. Police actually said that it was highly probable that they were also connected with the network of Daesh, who claimed responsibility for the Istanbul nightclub attack. We're also learning a lot more about Abdulgadir Masharipov himself. They said that he was training in Afghanistan, that he speaks 4 different languages, and that he arrived in the country in January of 2016, changing locations a number of times to try to cover his tracks. They said that while he has been in police custody this morning, he has admitted to the crime. And of course, they have added the detail that his fingerprints do match those that were recovered at the scene. Again, so this was a highly skilled operation, something that a special force of 1,000 people carried out. And again, an intelligence operation, because they discovered this several days ago, but they continued to conduct a very organized, highly skilled surveillance operation to continue to try to monitor who exactly Masharipov was speaking to and what other contacts and networks he may have, and presumably trying to figure out if there were any other sort of attacks planned. But certainly, as the Istanbul governor said here, a huge victory for the Turkish authorities, one much appreciated by the Turkish government, and a lot of people in Istanbul waking up and feeling certainly less anxiety and more comfort that this man is not wandering the streets of Turkey.
Indeed, the governor there also confirming and trying to settle doubts about who may have been aiding that operation, the attack rather, that was carried out on that nightclub, saying that, you know, people must have helped him carry out that attack, and that an investigation continues into possible links to Daesh. So this investigation does remain open, doesn't it, into how he may have actually planned the attack and who may have helped him.
Absolutely, Sandra. I mean, you heard them rattle off the number of raids that have been conducted. I mean, there were 4 operations prior to that Tuesday night raid. They had come so close to essentially catching Masharipov, but he had managed to escape at the 11th hour. But certainly there's a countrywide crackdown on terrorism. They've arrested more than 150 people that they believe to be affiliated with the network of Daesh. Turkey's deputy prime minister vowing this morning that Turkey would continue its efforts to look into not only who may be connected with Daesh, but who is supporting it. They said that their anti-terror efforts will continue until that comes to an end. But this is something that Turkey is stepping up. They have stepped up. And of course, the biggest thing is that they continue to increase their intelligence and security operations to make sure the attack at Reina nightclub and others that have shook the country never happen again. Sandra.
Kilmney, you've been speaking to several people making their morning commutes today. Obviously, there'll be much more relief given all those details that the governor has been providing on the operations, on what we know about that main suspect. What have people been telling you?
Well, I think as you just heard there, Sandra, and as you just mentioned, this is a big confidence booster to know the amount of time, energy, and resources that the Turkish government has dedicated to bringing this suspect into custody. And again, this highly skilled operation to gather more intelligence to prevent further attacks in the country. You know, after this nightclub attack, there was certainly a palpable fear and anxiety in the area. It had hit people right in the new year. And there is a noticeable feeling of relief in the air this morning as people were walking. I mean, people were smiling and laughing. There's a university here right next to police headquarters. You know, I have to say, the atmosphere in the air just felt different. And of course, a quote by Istanbul's Reina nightclub owner said that this is going to be a huge weight off of the victims, off of the families, that there may be some amount of justice for the lives that were lost in that horrific attack.
Kilmney Duchardt, many thanks for that update outside Istanbul Police Headquarters.